Hey, this is John with you guys again. Now that it's daylight out, I can do a proper update video with you guys. And this is my hybrid pear tree. Not exactly sure what specific type of pear tree it is, but as you can see, it's doing pretty good. Even after the first couple of weeks of spring, we had some snow, and it still kept its foliage pretty well. And I do not see any blossoms on the tree yet. So I might have to wait until next year before I get any fruit on it. Even though it's quite a tall tree, it's about 6'8". It's about close to 7 feet tall. Possibly a 5-year-old tree. Still no fruit. But in my backyard, I have a cherry tree about the same size. That is also doing quite well. Just put some fresh mulch on the ground around it. And as you can see, it already has some blossoms. Now, last year, just about all the cherries on this tree were eaten up by crows, as you can see on the power lines up there. So I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on them this year. See, there's a couple healthy looking blossoms right there. A couple of dead ones right there, probably killed off by the cold. 2 days ago, it was pretty warm. It got up to about 68 degrees Fahrenheit, and then it dropped back down to about 30 degrees. The weather's been completely insane up here in Kentucky for the past month. Even though it should be springtime. Even more blossoms over here, so we're looking at already. See the buds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, possibly up to, well, by the end of summer, possibly maybe 20 to 30 cherries on this tree. And it is rooted quite well. Actually putting quite a bit of force against the pulling on it. And the roots are very strong. And as you can see, my little blueberry bush here has quite a few blossoms on it. Actually, several hundred, possibly. See, each one of those little buds are going to turn into blueberries. And I already have several strawberry blossoms. I sprayed them down with fish emulsion. Put a little bit more compost on them, some organic compost. Pulled some weeds out. And just planted my new tomato plant, which looks like it might be infected with a little bit of fungi. Some sort of blight, possibly. Or it could just be dried leaves from a lack of water. Because when I got it in the pot, the soil was completely dry. And I planted several more seeds out here. Some cantaloupe seeds. Some sundrop melon seeds. And actually some hardy maypop passion fruit seeds, which have yet to sprout, which I'm not sure if they will sprout because I planted them 2 days ago when the weather was nice out, and then it dropped down to around 30 degrees. So I'm not too sure about that. I'm going to be replacing a lot of this soil with some richer compost, a little bit of sand, coconut coir, stuff like that, pulling out the weeds. So you have all these posts right here, all these bamboo sticks. Since many of the plants will be growing, especially the melons or vines, possibly plant some more watermelon vines, and the cantaloupes, yeah, they'll just attach themselves and climb straight up this bamboo pole and this trellis right here. And if you want some extra protection from pests like rabbits, especially squirrels, they'll try to eat your fruits or your vegetables, you know, put up a little fence like this. Actually, I have an electric fence, but that is my last line of defense. I'm not going to use that yet until I absolutely have to. Unless some of my crops become completely decimated by pests like rabbits. Yeah, last year every single maypop passion fruit vine I planted over here was eaten by rabbits. And mainly because in the leaves of maypop passion fruit vines, they contain a certain chemical that releases dopamine in the brains of humans and animals, and you know, causes a relaxing feeling. It's actually been used by Native Americans for many years, for many thousands of years actually, as a traditional medicine for sleep and anxiety. See, these are old pieces of vine from my purple passion fruit vine that died off over the winter from the cold, not only the cold, but fungus gnats. And at the end of summer, around August, the start of fall, the biggest issue you will have with pests will be fungus gnats. I learned that first off. And one thing that you can use to control that is a product called Natrol. It's spelled G-N-A-T-R-O-L, Natrol. And it is basically a toxic type of bacteria. It's completely organic, though. It's completely safe for your plants. And whenever the larvae try to feed on the roots of the plants that are in contact with the Natrol, you know, obviously it kills them. So that is why it's extremely effective against them. Another little blueberry bush here. And I did plant some small pawpaw trees last year, I think because of their age. They cannot sustain the cold that well. Because this little guy right here has not sprouted out any new vegetation whatsoever. Pretty sure it's dead. But with gardening, you know, there's you know, it's either hit or miss. You know, there's a lot of issues to take into consideration: pests, fungi, disease, you know, viruses, especially mosaic viruses. This is a grapevine that I planted over here as well. But my original grapevine has sprouted out some new buds, which is doing quite well. Yeah, I think I'm going to replace my brown turkey fig tree with a Chicago hardy fig tree that can take temperatures down to -20, opposed to brown turkey fig trees that can take temperatures down to only 10 degrees. And as I stated before, I did not expect this winter to be so cold as it was, but obviously I was wrong. Yeah, even though it's warming up, it has not sprouted out at all. Sprouted out any new vegetation. As I said, there's no sap coming out of it. It is all dried up. And if you can really want to tell if a tree is still alive or not, you just rub on the bark. If there's still moisture underneath, then most likely it is still alive, which there is a bit of moisture on this, so I'm going to keep it here until the end of summer, see if it sprouts out any new leaves or new vegetation or figs. Hopefully it does. If not, as I said, I'll be replacing it with another one. And definitely covering it up with the tarp at least over the winter if it gets too cold. Its root system is actually quite strong. It's rooted itself quite well. But as you can see, my grapevine here has already sprouted out some new flower buds. And I put some new compost around it. Some mangosteen shells, some banana peels, eggshells. Pulled all the weeds out so they can't suck up any of the moisture or any of the nutrients in the soil around your desired plant. Yes, see this right here. This is a type of fungi. This is I believe this is a harmful type of fungi. I do not believe this is the mycorrhizal fungi that I planted under this before last year. I believe this is powdery mildew, actually, which can be very harmful to a plant. So if you see that, remove it. Definitely. Actually, I'm going to be taking a mixture of some actinovate and pouring it all in the soil near my grapevine. And this is the organic compost that I use. It's all natural. Contains bone meal, kelp meal, alfalfa meal. And obviously my little 1-year-old Jabotacaba tree did not survive. But as we go in my house, you'll see some of my other ones that have done quite well over the winter. Some of my more tropical plants. Yeah, this is my seashore mangosteen plant that I planted from seed that's done quite well, actually. Despite a small invasion of fungus gnats that I got rid of with the Natural product I told you guys about. It's been doing pretty good. And these two achachiru or achacha trees that are related to mangosteens came from one seed. These two trees came from one seed, actually. And I put a little bit of sand in there, and I put some Natural in there as well to get rid of any fungus gnat larvae. And with the mycorrhizal fungi, it has been doing quite well. You can see the leaves are really healthy and really bright green. And my big achachiru plant that you guys saw last summer has sprouted out some new growth. Has a couple little dark spots on there, but I sprayed some neem oil on it. Probably next week spray some actinovate on it just for some fungi control, fungal control. But it has done quite well, actually, to be inside over the summer, or over the winter, I mean. And this is my very rare Garcinia mundu plant that I thought almost died from fungus gnats. But it is still alive. It is still doing good. It has not sprouted out any new growth. Actually, if you look very closely, looks like it might soon. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll